How do you feel about hood hoppers?
Especially just like Peysoh, that gonna be from the hood. Shit, there look, no picture, that throwing up there. He was a baby, he was claiming it. He was really claiming the hood though, nigga. Got locked up, came out banging Playboys,
Yo, this is crazy. So it looks like Southside Florencia, little homie, calling out Peysoh for allegedly being a hood hopper. Peysoh went from banging Florencia to now all of a sudden he's Playboy. And ain't that a hopper? That's like a norteño turning into sureño. Or like when the crib turns into a blood. It's crazy, right? I've always heard about this rumor in the industry, but I never heard anybody talk about it or confirm it. But now these little homies are talking about it, pretty much calling out one of the biggest Southside rappers out to date, Peysoh.
You already know what it is, man. Jan the Hitman, Diesel. Straight to it. Bloop, bloop. Hit that notification though, man. Support a real one, man. Subscribe, man. Come on. Let's go. Straight to it. Peysoh. They said he used to be from Florencia. What? And he went to prison. He came home and now he's a playboy? Is that what happened? Look, man. I know Shady Boy from his hood. I was with him in Lancaster, the city, not the prison, the city. We were just in Lancaster about 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Peysoh got love. His hood Playboys love Peysoh, straight up. Rich Rabbit from over there too. Not only that, the dude that did my stomach, he was from Playboys, West Side, right? In the laundry room, getting my, that shit was killing me. You know who else was in the laundry room maybe? Crazy Boy from Florencia. Pee-wee from La Mirada, Midget from El Monte. They was all in the laundry room fucking around, you know what I'm saying? While dude was working on me, right? On a Saturday morning. In Stockton, Carl Houghton, right? You know what I'm saying? All of them's from LA, right? And then my homeboy Snoopy from Southside Pasadena, he was like at the door trying to keep point. You know what I'm saying? You know how it be. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me about LA Southsiders, nigga, like I don't know, nigga. LA always have my back, man. I fuck with LA. I ain't because people always be like, oh, John Diesel be on LA's nuts, nigga. LA's always have my back. Everywhere I've been at. Starting from YA. And Westside Verdugo too, man. Shout out to Westside Verdugo. Even though I did have an incident with Psycho from Westside Verdugo. We had a little incident up in the pen over a cell phone, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a story on that, right? Because shout out to Psycho, because he know the real. And you motherfuckers from Westside Verdugo, you know who Psycho is. Nigga. We had an issue up in the pen, right? But we're gonna do a story on that later on, right? Anyhow, moving on, right? So, Peysoh, right? I know some cats from Florencia, right? Now, what happens to a dude that flip-flops, or jumps ships, or moves on, or is a Southsider than a Northerner, or from this gang to this gang, right? So, being from one gang and jumping to another gang, but still the same faction, is not as bad as switching a complete color. There's two different kind of consequences, right? And they could be detrimental, like switching colors, especially in prison, because it has happened. It has happened. Matter of fact, there's some few big names that used to be from this side and all of a sudden, blue flip-flop to this side, right? But from personal experience, from me being on level 2, 3, and 4, and being on the streets, being a gang leader, because I was a leader of my gang, I will say that. Oh, we don't got leaders in it. We kind of don't, but we just have those guys that got a little bit more influence over everybody, right? That'd be me, right? And shout out to a lot of dudes like that, like, not to get off track, nigga, but like my homeboy Güero, nigga, like my homeboy Gordo, nigga. He used to be with he had his little crew, you know what I'm saying? My nigga Ñoño from 9-4. That nigga had his little crew. You know what I'm saying? You know, Spanky from 8-1. He had his little crew. So you got those dudes that just got a little bit of influence, right? Me and Juanito, we had our own crew. You know what I'm saying? Me and Midget, we had our own crew. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a matter of how much influence you got over the people. How much the people respect you. Why does my people respect me? Why did they follow me? And why was I able to call the shots in my neighborhood? Was because I wouldn't let them do something that I hadn't already done. That's the difference between me and other type of leaders. Some motherfuckers just got good mouthpiece. But when it's time to go handle their business, they rank out. You know what I'm talking about. But see, I led by example. So how am I going to tell this youngster to go do something that I wouldn't do? I mean, this was the mentality when I was younger. I definitely, not now, I definitely wouldn't ruin a youngster's life by telling him to go do something, right? So if you look at the thumbnail on my channel, the profile, it says, it used to say gang leader, but I put ex-gang leader because I'm no longer a gang leader. Even though some of my young BGs, they you know, they respect me, they call me OG, you know what I'm saying? They like listening to some of my old stories, or they ask me, is this true? You know what I'm saying? Did this really happen? You know what I'm saying? Because I left legendary marks, legendary stories of shit that I done on the streets of Oakland, California, and in prison, repping the bees, right? But that's something else. That's something else. So, what happens to somebody that jumps ships, right? So this happens a lot in every city where this guy used to be from this gang, now he's from this gang, right? Now, there's really much that can't be done because most of the time, if he jumps into this new gang, it's because that gang's already embraced him. You don't know what that man has done to receive acceptance from that side, right? True, it's always going to be hanging over your head. Whenever somebody gets mad, they're going to throw that at you. Hey, man, you used to be from that hood. You used to be, right? I'm sure that happens with people that hop ships. But when it comes to the violence, yeah, you might be a larger target. They might want you a little more now because you used to be from whatever and whatnot, right? But let me tell you a quick story, right? So my homeboy Silent was from 94th. No, he was from DFL, and then he moved to 94th. Still BBs. I was kind of mad at first. When my homeboy told me, hey man, Silent went over there. Well, like, we used to call him Shy Boy or something like that. Was it Shy Boy? Something. But he left. And I was like, fuck it, if you want to be over there, you know, 9-4. It's because 9-4 was the hub. 9-4 was always like the center point. Everybody wanted to be on 9-4, right? So he chose to be with 9-4 when they used to hang out on 83rd and 8th Street, right? At Bicho's old spot. So he decided to go with them, right? Boom. He gets busted for woo, right? He goes to juvenile hall. He goes through the process and he ends up in Hawaii. He ends up in Preston. For those of y'all that know, Preston, Cedar Lodge is reception, is the receiving unit. He lands to Cedar Lodge from Oakland with about 8-9 Northerners. Silent. He easily got brainwashed. There was no BBs, there was no Southsiders. It was just him and a bunch of Northerners. And they took him up under the wing. Bro, you from Oakland, homie? You from Evil Side Oakland. You from East Oakland, right? You're a North End, man. You're not, well, come on. So they brainwashed him and he became a Northerner. This is crazy because it almost got me in trouble, right? Because this motherfucker sends me a letter. I'm in the hole with Moreno from East LA 13. I'm in the hole with Moreno from East LA 13.
From the Tiny Dukes gang.
We're in the hole together. I get a letter from him, and he sends me a letter, and it says, whoa, and he signs off, Evil Side Oakland Norte. Right? He explained, oh, my bad, man, I had to do what I had to do. This is how clumsy we were writing letters, because he wrote me a letter saying, oh, man, I'm over here, homie, from now on, I'm from Oakland. He said, I'm from Oakland now. At that time, Polo from 9-4 had just caught that book. He was in Tehachapi. YA had just kicked him out. YA had just kicked him out. He went to Tehachapi. So he wrote me, right? But when the letter came and he put a Norte on the paper, you know, Cellies be, if they could, you know, they're not going to be trying to look at your letter, but if he, you know, his eyes are going to be wandering. That's just the way it is in the cell. You're going to be wandering. That's just, it's your job to be alert, to be on point with everything. If you can catch a glimpse of what that letter says, you're probably going to do it. That's just that mentality in prison. So, he looks over my paper and it says Norte, right? This fool gets at me talking about, hey, homie, are you a Buster, Holmes? I was like, bro, come on, man. What makes you? I seen the placazo, Holmes. What's up with that? I said, bro, here, read the letter, man. I said, man, my homeboy just fucking flipped. I seen the placazo that dude had sent me from Preston. So, anyhow, long story short, a couple years later, he comes to Carl Holton. He lands in my unit. You know what the Southsiders told me? Hey, Holmes, you're going to take care of that. You know that, right? And I was like, you ain't got no choice. I felt bad too, right? But this is your homeboy from the streets. We were actually real tight on the streets until he flipped over to 94th. But he was still a BB, so I didn't really trip. He still, you know, border brother, whatever. Whoop. I stole a little 22 from them over there on 83rd. They probably remember. They knew I stole it, you know what I'm saying? On some drunk shit. I threw it off on the alcohol, but I knew what I was doing. Kid shit, right? But hold on. Silent lands in Carl Holton. Lucky it wasn't Paso Robles or YTS, because the consequences probably would have been a little bit more severe. See, Carl Holton was a drug program, and all the inmates that were there was trying to get home. We're down to their last year before they go home, right? Complete the drug program, and we're gonna parole you, right? I was there with Babyface from 18th Street. He didn't pass, right? From 18th Street. But moving on though. So that's where I was at with Gunner. Gunner was there. Gunner from Collective. But anyhow, so he lands in my unit, and the Southsiders goes, no, you can fuck with him because that's your homie from the hood, but you got to handle your business first. And it took me a few days to go handle my business. It was just a matter of me finding the right opportunity to call him out. And then I finally got a chance to catch him coming from school. So I caught up to him and we were walking together coming back from school. He remembers this. He's watching my channel because he sent me a comment on this channel. And motherfuckers from 94th Avenue and all the border brothers that are watching me know this shit is true, right? So at this time, he had came from Preston as a norteño, but he had got dropped leva in Preston. So he lands in our unit. So now leva's kind of like S and Y, but not really, because you still get the program in the building with us in the compa, but you're just on the shine, right? But the Southsiders kept pushing up on me too on a daily. Hey, what's up, Holmes? You gonna take care of that or what, eh? Come on, they say you're taking kind of long. They say, hey, I already knew I was gonna take care of it. You know, I just wanted to look. I'm going home. I got a release date coming up in about 6-7 months, but I want to make sure that, you know, that I make it. So I want to get this little fight out the way without getting, even though I ended up catching time. I think I had 2 days left, man, and caught a case for fighting, man.
Not a case of level
So
B.
anyhow, I finally catch up to Silent, right? And I said, hey, man, what's up, man? And I went like that. He knew already. He knew because he already had told us we're going to have to get down. First chance we get, right? First chance we get, we got to get in. So I went like this, and he knew. So we went to the back, and blue, grabbed him. Something light. I didn't want to, you know, but, you know, we did kind of grapple, kind of scuffle, and other inmates that were passing by seen it. it was more than enough, right? I didn't have to do anything damaging to him. Getting putting hands on him with a bunch of witnesses was more than satisfactory for the Southsiders, right? It's crazy because it was only 3 of us at that time. My nigga Big D was in another building, and my nigga from VOB, Carlitos, had just left, right? But yeah, so because he had switched into becoming a Northern, but it didn't even matter at that time. At that point, he's level, right? Right. And we've had a lot of dudes from Oakland. We've had a few border brothers that go to prison and become norteños, right? And vice versa. There's been norteños that become paisas. And a lot of upstate Southsiders have became border brothers. I'm talking about like the traditional border brothers from prison. They're all in the federal penitentiary right now. A lot of upstate Southsiders. Not too many Southsiders from LA, but upstate Southsiders have become border brothers in prison. Now, there's a lot of border brothers in prison from LA, but they were paisas on the streets and they became border brothers in prison. But as far as the consequence for you jumping over, it just depends what you know. It just depends how you went about it and what was the reason why you did it, right? So let me give you guys a quick scenario. So someone pulls up to a unit. There's nothing but Northerners there, right? Dude's a Southsider, and he might have a family member there, right? And he might have a cousin or somebody like, and Southsider just brings it up. Hey man, what's up, man? I want to fuck with y'all, man. He might just say, oh man, I don't want to be Sudan anymore because he's scared to death. And this is his only way without PCing up, without going to SNY. This is his way of trying to get in. And he already has it in mind. If they don't accept him, he's going to go. If they don't accept his offer, he's going to have to go. So he tries to play it. Hey, man, you know, I want to ride with you guys. Is it cool? You know, especially if he has somebody in there or somebody that he grew up with that can speak for him and are willing to give him a chance. It's happened before. Not too much now, but it used to happen a lot. Because I've seen a lot of people transition, right? Like I said before, the dude that knocked, it's crazy because just on my last video, I had talked about the Northerner that knocked down my homeboy. He was a Northerner. He gets to Pelican Bay and becomes a paisa, right? Because the situations that you land in is not in your favor. So most people, most inmates are going to do whatever they got to do to benefit them in that particular situation. And if that means switching over to the other side, they're going to do that. As long as they stay alive and as long as they don't have to go SNY and PC, they'd rather switch over and still be active, but letting go on my other gang. And this is mostly like, it happens in prison with colors, right? Because you can't really jump a gang and go into another gang in prison. It just, it doesn't look right. You know, so maybe in the county or if you just came in, you know, the situations could vary. It's many different situations, right? Or if you're like in juvenile hall or even in CYA or reception, in prison reception, even in prison reception, if this car is deep and you're by yourself, you're hanging out with them, sometimes you might just start hollering that, start saying you're from there, right? And if there's 3-4 dudes there, sometimes they might just beat your ass in the cell, right? And keep it between them, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look to be jumping sets, right? It's not a good look. It's not a good look to be jumping around just based on the fact that you can't be trusted, right? Once you jump once, you're probably going to jump again if need be. If it came down to it, you'll probably jump fences again, right? It means you're probably going to tell, more than likely. Shit. But the consequence could even be death. It just, like I said, it just depends how you did it, right? Or why you did it, right? And it also depends what kind of quota you got. If you can prove to that faction or prove to whoever that you're willing to really go down for what you represent now today, and you're willing to go down for that, kill or die, they're gonna accept you, man. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, and all the gangs have people that used to be from other gangs, right? And like I said before, we don't want to drag this on. Look, nothing happens, man. Nothing really happens no more, especially nowadays. Nothing really happens. And even back then, it's just a calentala or something. It ain't even nothing that serious no more. It's never really been that serious, unless it was with colors. You know, people would talk about it, and they would have to either prove themselves a little more. You got to put in the work too if you're gonna flop colors, right? Or factions. But as far as like gang, if you're blue from this gang, but of the blue team, and you jump into another blue team gang, you're still blue team. You're still the blue team. You know, nothing. You know, it's like, so this thing with Peysoh ain't nothing about to happen. It's just gonna be news for a couple of days. If you don't forget about it, he's a playboy, man. John Diesel, man. I'm gone, man.